Hello, today I will showcase a walkthrough of the Microsoft Excel World Championship first problem of the final, which is called Elections Are Coming. The king of the fictional country of Votlandia is about to resign and change the political system in the country towards a parliamentary republic. You are helping the king to model the possible election outcomes in the country and select the best possible voting system. Currently, there are 100 voters living in the country that cast their votes for 5 different political parties. However, in the nearest future, on level 5, the number of voters will grow to 1,000. See detailed instructions for each level below. You can get a total of 1,000 regular points and 200 bonus points for solving the bonus questions before your opponents. Levels 4 and 5 are independent of each other. They have approximately the same level of complexity but test different skill sets. If you get stuck on level 4, we strongly recommend moving to level 5. So the bonus questions, I'll do them step by step after some main questions, but first let's get to level 1. On level 1, the voting system is very simple. Each voter has 1 vote to cast for one of the parties. How many votes were given for the purpose? So here it's just a little count if, and what you want to count is how many times P appears. Or if you want to use the cell, you can literally use that too, like that. Okay. Level 2. Now the voting system has become a little bit more complicated as the sequence of voters becomes important. The vote of the first vote is worth only 1 point. The vote of the next voter is worth 1 point if the votes for another party, but 2 points if he votes for the same party. This bonus for the sequence increases with the number of voters voting for the same party. If 3 voters in a row vote for the same party, then the party gets 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals C points in total. You have also an example for 4. Another example, the final split of the places in the parliament will be determined by the total number of points. How many points will blue-white party receive in total from these 100 voters? So what we'll do here is do that, and what we'll do is for the first one it will be only 1, and what we'll do is if, and if the party you voted for the second vote is the same than the previous one, then what we'll do is this plus 1, else we'll restart from 1. Then let's do this like that. Okay. And now to test if we have the same thing than the example, what we'll do is sum if. Range of the if is that we want blue, white, and the sum range will be this. And we have 17, so it appears to be okay. So now let's move this a bit like that. And of course, let's copy paste that. And now we can get to the first bonus question. What is the highest possible number of points a party can get with the voting system as on level 2? So here what they ask is if each of the votes is for a party, how many points will the party score? So we can just do, as you can see here, it's increments of 1 each time. So the thing we can do is just do a sum of this. And we have a maximum number of points. What is the minimum payment Gen average receives for his services under the level 3 scenarios? We'll do this with the question 3, with the level 3. So level 3, the king has decided to move on with the simple system from level 1, and now the preparation to the elections is underway. Mr. John Average is an election analyst. He works for a consulting agency monitoring public opinion and creates weekly forecasts of the election outcomes. His final forecast before the election day is that each party will get exactly 20 votes, a tie between the 5 parties. Mr. Average's payment is tied to the precision of his forecasts. If he is fully correct, all the 5 parties indeed get 20 votes each, he gets $1 million. However, for each vote of difference for each party, his payment is decreased by $10,000. For example, if the red party gets 19 votes, the purple party gets 21 votes, and each other parties get 20 votes, then John loses 2 times $10,000 out of this payment. He will first receive a total of $980,000 for his prediction services. How much money will John receive for his election prediction services in each of the election outcomes below? Okay, so for each parties, what we'll do is count how many times they appear. So we'll do that around here. Let's transpose that like that. We'll do the example 2, so we'll do a count if again, only with this range. We'll fix the column, and the criteria will be this, to which we fix the row. And what we want here is the difference. So we'll do the absolute value of this minus 20. We do the absolute value because sometimes it will be less than 20, sometimes more, but we want the positive value of that. So the total will be 1 million minus the sum of this times 10,000. For the example, yes, we have the same value, and here we'll just copy paste that. Okay. So now what we want for level 3 is just the minimum payment, so we'll just do a min function and a minimum of that. And here you have bonus question 2. The bonus 3 will do that last. Let's get to level 4. On the actual election day, the vote counting machine crashed and the voting results were summarized in the form of colors corresponding to each party. In example 4, voters number 1 and number 2 voted for the purple party, while voter 3 voted for the yellow-blue party. How many voters have casted their votes for the winning party? Their party will with most votes in each of the scenarios below. Here I showcase 2 solutions, one using VBA, one not. Let's start first with the solution not using VBA, which I would recommend here. So what we'll do is a replace function, and here, if you don't if you didn't develop the options, you have only that. But if you click here, you have other options like searching for format. And what you can do is choose a format from a cell, like this one. And here you want to replace the cells with purple, like that. And here you can see a P field in that. Now we'll do the same thing with each other format, like yellow, blue. Red. Blue, white. And to finish, black. And now all you have to do is to count how many times each of them appear. The hard part was getting these colors replaced by something you can actually count. So here we'll do this, we fix the column again, and here we fix the row. Okay, and here you want maximum votes given to the different parties. And here apparently I did something wrong with the range here, because I have a circular reference. Yes. Okay, I'll just update the formulas. Do the same thing here. Okay, here we have it. The other way to do this with VBA is to use the properties of the cell. The participants didn't spend a lot of time trying to get that, because here we have special cells, and you'll see why. What I'll do first is create a function called fColor, to which I give a cell as a range. And what I'll try, for example, is to fColor equals cell dot interior dot color, which is what they used, I believe. So let's try that for this one. So for this one, of course, let's use a bit of cells to see that better. Like that, you have the color. But here, for example, you have 0, which corresponds to the black, as you can see. So what is different for this? What we can do is, for example, click here to say stop right there, and add a spy here. So, okay, here it's add watch in English, okay. And when we redo that, we can drill in here and see indeed color is equal to 0, because we have something new called gradient. And what you can see there are the different properties of the gradients of yellow, blue. And what you'll see for color stops is that you have 2 colors. And here you have the first color, which is probably the yellow, I guess, or the blue. And here you have the other one. So what you could use is that. And what we check is just for example, purple. So okay, like that, for purple. Here you can see gradient is just nothing. So what we can do is give this different results depending on if the gradient is nothing or not. So what we can do is if cell that interior that gradient is nothing, so if it's not a gradient, then f color is that. Else, what we can do is, for example, do a little loop for I equals from 1 to cell that interior that color that gradient no, that's color that's gradient that color stops that's count, something like that. And here we'll return to yellow blue. We'll return to yellow blue just to see what it looks like. When you don't know how something looks, just put a stop and watch the object. It helps a lot. So here, as you can see, you have gradients, color stops, you have different items. So what we can do is just do something like that, and we'll actually have something like that equals to this. What we'll do is something a bit different here. We'll do something like that, and this equals to that. Okay. So if it doesn't have a gradient, we'll do that. Else, what we can do is a little loop, and for each of the color stops, we'll do results equals results, and we can do that. And as you can see, for color stops, for this item, we have a color. So what we'll do is get this color stop, and we want the color. This should be okay for this one. And just to do this properly, what I'll do is maybe add a little thing like that, just to separate the different colors. And here you can see for the yellow-blue that we have something very different from purple. So if we wanted, we could use that. And just do that for each of the cells, for example. We could have done that. So we can say I want the color of that. So it's probably, no, not have the whole thing, sorry. I just want one cell. It will be enough. Do this for all of these cells, and then what you can do is here, get the color of this on each of these, place them by just values. What you can do is copy paste that, for example. So we are at question 4. And what we could have done is here count how many times in this appears. And you have the same result, 42 for purple. I won't show for each of the rows, but you could have done like that. It's a possibility to do that in VBA. I show how to do this, but personally I would have used the replace function. But just for the workflow, I wanted to show you that it was possible to do this like that. So for these cells, what you have to do is use the gradient property and return the different colors from the gradients just to be sure it's different from this. You could also have used just the first color stop. Okay, let's get to level 5. So level 5, Votlandia has a baby boom about 20 years ago, so on the next elections the total number of voters will grow to exactly 1,000 in each of the cases below. Due to the increased numbers of voters, the election results are now being represented in a text string. A vote for a party is represented by the corresponding letters in the string. In example 5, the voters number 1 and number 2 vote for the yellow-blue party, while voters number 3 and number 4 vote for the purple party. How many voters have cast their votes for the winning party, the party with the most votes? So we will use a solution showed by Brittany. You can see her and all of the other participants perform in the live stream. The link will be you will have access to the link from the video in the description and as a pop-up, I believe, something like that. Yeah. So here we have the different codes. Let's transpose that. Okay. And what she did, which was very clever, was to replace this text by something else. So here I replace them with a number. And what I'll do is first replace blue-white, then yellow-blue, then blue. Else, if we do blue first, here we'll replace the blue which composes blue-white. So we first do blue-white, then yellow-blue, then blue, etc. So I replace this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for all of this. So I'll do a replace. I'll clear the format because I don't want to find a format. Here what I want to find is blue-white, and I want to replace it by 1 with a semicolon. Let's replace everything like that. Then I want to find yellow-blue, and I want to replace it by 2 with a semicolon. Then I want to find blue, replace it with 3 with a semicolon. Do that for each of these. Now let's get to red. Now let's get to purple. And here what we can do is just a text to column delimited and use the semicolon. So here we have everything. Okay. What I'll do is not do this here because it will make a lot of columns. So what I'll do is bring it here. Semicolon, finish. Okay. And now what I want to do is count for each of these how many times these numbers appear. So we just do a count if. For example, 5. We fix the column here. And the criteria will just be that to which I fix the row. And like that, you have part of level 5 done, and what they want is what is the maximum votes that a party had. How many votes have as the winning party? Here I used the example 5, so it's not the right one. And the winning party is the one with the maximum number of votes, so we just do that. And here you have level 5 done. So now the only thing left is bonus question 3, which is how many votes were given for the blue-white party across all the 105 election scenarios below. And little trap here, for level 2, here it's points, not votes. So even if 2 blue-whites are next to each other, it will still be one vote, one vote, one vote, one vote. So what we can do is a countif for question 1, for level 1. We'll just count how many times blue-white appears. We can do the same thing for level 2. Level 3, we can do the same thing again. Level 4, it will be just a sum of that. It will be easier like that. Or we could have just do a countif again, but let's do something different here. And for the level 5, we'll do a sum too. A sum of all of these. And here we should have bonus question 3 done. Yes. Okay, so with that, the subject is completed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. I hope you liked the video, and thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.